Salve discipuli. Welcome to part 2 of our model sentences for stage 2 of our Cambridge Latin course. So again, at this point, you should have completed your translation of all the model sentences, and we're just going to go over the translations together, make any corrections needed. And again, if you're not coming to class this week, you do need to send me a picture of your completed translations so you can get participation credit for the week. All right, let's make my face a bit smaller and then we can get started. All right, amicus. Amicus is our Latin word for friend. This is one of our vocabulary words for this chapter. Caecilius est in atrio, right? We've seen these quite similar sentences before. Caecilius is in the atrium or in the main room. Amicus Caecilium salutat. This is the friend greets Caecilius. Now, again, we've got some of our nominative and accusative endings going on here. Remember, with our grammar this week, we've got different endings for our nouns when they're a subject versus when they're a direct object. So that M ending tells me that this word is the direct object in our sentence. So the friend greets Caecilius. Metella is in the main room. The friend greets Metella. Lucia is in the main room. The friend greets Lucia. The slave is in the main room. The friend greets the slave. The dog is in the main room. The friend greets the dog. All right, so again, this is kind of how these books like to slowly introduce you to the grammar. So we see quite a few of the similar sentences introducing us to these accusative direct object forms of our words. So the next page has a little bit more interesting things going on. So we've got Metella. Coquus est in culina, or the cook is in the kitchen. Metella enters the kitchen. Culinam, right? You've got that am ending. Grumio is working. Metella sees Grumio, or Metella looks at Grumio, or Metella watches Grumio. Any of those are perfectly acceptable. You could also say Metella is watching Grumio or is looking at Grumio. I think probably watches might work the best, or is watching might work the best in this case, but any of them are correct. Quibus est paratus. The food is ready. Paratus means like prepared or ready. Metella tastes the food. Right? Metella tastes the food. Gustat. Gustare is our verb to taste. Grumio est anxious. This anxious, we get the word anxious from it in English, and it means anxious. So Grumio is anxious. He is worried when Metella is testing the food. But Metella Grumionem laudat. Metella praises Grumio. So she is happy with how the food tastes. Amicus est in horto. The friend is in the garden. And Metella amicum vocat. Metella calls the friend. Vocat. Voco, vocare is to call. We get the word like vocal from this. All right, if you have any questions on how to translate these sentences, if you translated some things a little bit differently, as long as you get the meaning across, it's usually going to be okay. So unless you have something completely different from how I translated it, you should be fine. That's kind of the nice thing about Latin, is there's a little bit of flexibility with translations, right? So again, you could, for praises, you could say she praises or she is praising. There's a few different ways to translate those verbs. The most important thing is making sure that you have your subject correct and then your direct object correct. So don't be switching up those. All right. Again, if you are not in class this week, you are going to want to send me your picture of your translations for these sentences. Again, those of you who are attending class, we're doing this in class. So if you do this ahead of time, you're going to be bored in class because you'll have already done what we're going to be doing in class. So otherwise, I hope you all have a lovely day, and Valete discipuli. I'll see you next time.